Hey everybody, just want to give another quick update about coronavirus and COVID and all of that. Um, as y'all know, this is typically a narcissism channel, and I've put that content on hold because I want people to stay safe. So right now I'm in Houston, and this is literally one of the worst spots in the United States right now. Um, the virus has hit very close to home now for me. Um, So my wife works in a nursing home. Um, Nursing homes, the residents and the employees together, uh, they make up 43% of all the fatalities in the U.S. so far. So on top of that, my wife is Hispanic, so she's already at a 5 time greater risk of infection and working in literally probably the most dangerous place that she could be working. Um, she's okay so far. Yesterday was her last day, but just in the last 3 days, 5 of her coworkers have tested positive. One of them is now in the hospital. The majority of the people that work there are now sick. They are having to bring in temporary workers from Dallas, which is 6 hours away, if that confuses people. In Texas, we measure distance in hours. That comes out, I don't know how far it is. I think that's about between 400, around 400, 500 miles. In any case, it's about 5, 6 hours away. They're having to pay a temp agency to bring people in from quite a distance to fill the positions. Yesterday was her last day, so she's no longer working there. But just this week, 5 coworkers have tested positive. One of her coworkers is now in the hospital. 2 of her residents have died. 2 more are on their way to dying, and they have several more residents that are symptomatic and testing positive. Yesterday, the resident that died, my wife had to sit with the body for several hours and wait for the funeral home, the funeral director to show up. She works in an Alzheimer's unit, so it's not the first time she's seen somebody die, but it's just it's a very sobering experience when you're sitting with a dead body and you find out that 5 more coworkers are positive. Well, two we already knew about, but 3 more tested positive yesterday, and we found out 1 is in the hospital now. So that was a pretty sobering experience. I'm going to talk about some safety measures. Just I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I do want to bring something up, though, in all the research that I've done. What you all have to understand, first of all, do not get your information from anything that's .com and that has advertisements, okay? So, and this is just from my personal experience, okay? If it's got a .com and it's got advertisements on it and it's got advertisements in the article, I'm not going to say that it's misinformation, and I'm not going to say that they're lying. I'm going to say that you are not at the purest quality information location on the internet. Okay? Those are your metrics. You look for a .com, you look for advertisements. If it's a .com and it's got advertisements in the middle of your article, you're reading somebody else's opinion and hoping that that person's not an idiot and didn't misunderstand something. So you need to vet your information seriously and take it more seriously now than before, because we know more now. Second of all, the debate about whether or not to wear masks, whether or not to lock down, etc. I'm not going to promote a side either way. Here's what you do need to know. The way science works, okay? If you believe masks are bad and if you believe masks are good, here's the thing. Both sides have data and studies to back it up and support it, because that's how science works. the way it works in these journals and in research is the scientific method is going to say, let's look at masks, okay? You, team A, red team, go. You guys research the benefits of masks, sorry, plural. Blue team, go. Research the cons of wearing a mask, right? So you're going to see research on both sides. See, that's how science and research works. You get teams researching multiple aspects of the same thing. So you're going to find research that contradicts each other. You can sit there and argue all day long on babyface Facebook. Both of you are going to have correct viewpoints. Both of you are going to have correct opinions because both of you have research that backs you up. And because in science, what's going to happen is may the best paper win, may the best theory win, right? Red team go, blue team go, one team wins, right? So here's what you need to do. Stop arguing for masks. Stop arguing against masks. Read the research on both. Okay? You don't pick half the research. Don't pick half the information. That's stupid. Don't do that. Read both sides of the research. Okay? Second of all, when you're reading research, just because you see it being talked about in the news doesn't mean that it's accurate. See, this is the scientific method. You propose a theory, a hypothesis, and then you conduct some experiments and some analysis, and then you publish your results. And then once it's published, we're not done. That's the beginning of the process, okay? It's not done. That's the start. That's the starting point. You do all that work just to start, because then from there, what you want to look for is research studies that have been reproduced. Okay, so you want to find papers that reproduce and confirm another research paper. Okay, and you want to read peer reviews. If you're reading something that doesn't have peer review, don't read it, because anybody can publish anything. No, seriously. I can publish a research paper that analyzes the positive effects of unicorn farts in fighting the coronavirus. I can publish that, and it can be peer reviewed, and they can call me a fucktard. You guys can still publish it. Yeah, that's the thing. Okay, blogs, the average blogger, the average journalist, their job is to be first. And to be first, you have to sensationalize something, okay? Anytime you read an article, when you read the article, you have to scroll down through all the Trump administration bullshit. You know, it's either, every article either starts with liberal tears, orange man good, or orange man bad, right? So you got to skip through all of that shit. And then you have to scroll down to actually find some little measure of truth. And even then, it's questionable, because chances are the person that wrote it is a fucktard. Okay? So these are the things you need to do. Join coronavirus survivor groups on Facebook. There is no better place to get your information than from the people currently suffering from it. Okay? Talk to the people that currently have it, that are currently laid up in the hospitals, if they can still type, or if they're at home on quarantine. That's where reality is. Okay, reality is not on Facebook talking about mind control conspiracies and sheeple or mosquitoes and chain link fences, which is absolutely retarded and completely inaccurate. I'll put it to you like this. A mask is not a microscopically thin. It would have to be graphene, right? in order for there to be a microscopic chain link fence on the micron level, no, that's not, it's not at all representative of a mask. It's not. It just isn't. Okay? Imagine dozens of layers of chain link fence, and then you take a mosquito, put it inside of a raw egg, and throw the raw egg at these dozens of layers of chain link fence. Will the mosquito get through? Probably not. It's small enough to, but it's covered with sticky egg. Think about that. So, but I'm not going to go any further than that, right? Yes, it can get through. I guess I'll mention this, okay? Surgical masks, don't get the words prevent and protect confused. I've noticed this. People get twisted up over those two words. Masks cannot prevent you from being infected, okay? Versus masks cannot protect you from getting infected, okay? Versus masks cannot prevent others from getting infected, okay? Masks cannot protect others from being infected, okay? Some of those are true. Some of those aren't. I'm not going to promote any of them one way or the other. But those are two similar words that people trip up over all the time, especially if they're full of red wine at home. So there's that. And the short answer is masks definitely make a difference in a pandemic. It's not a big difference. It's not the biggest difference you would want. It's a difference. And when your hospitals are filled to the brim and ambulances are waiting sometimes an hour or 2 hours before they can even release their patient to the hospital, every little bit helps that situation. Right now in Houston, if you get sick and you have to ride an ambulance into a hospital, you've still got another 3 to 4 hours before anybody can even say hello to you, which is really bad if you're having a heart attack or a stroke. That's our situation that we are living here right now, as I speak and record this. So it's not kittens and glitter down here. You know, we don't have the privilege and luxury of still being able to debate things. At this point, it's Darwin in full effect. People aren't going to make it, plain and simple. So just consider where you're at. One other thing I'll leave you with to sort of help you cut through some bullshit. When you get a tornado warning, right, depending on where you're at and what your experience is, when there's a tornado, you're either looking at rain or death and destruction. Now, if you get two people talking about it, the people that are getting rain think that the whole death and destruction narrative is a hoax, all right? Because in a tornado, 98%, 99% of the population is going to say there's nothing to worry about with tornado warnings. It's just rain. The tornado is a hoax. That 1% of people that get hit by the tornado, if they survive, try to tell the people, no, it's not just rain. There's a very deadly, very dangerous, very destructive part of the storm that you just did not experience. You got the rain part of it, right? And you can argue back and forth. You can look at weather maps. You can question the data on the weather maps. You can question the accuracy. Oh, well, you know, these weather maps aren't even real time. They're delayed by 30 seconds, or they're delayed by a minute, or 5 minutes, or 15 minutes, right? So we don't even know if we can even trust this map. You don't hear that. Why? Because everybody has had some measure of experience with a tornado. Nobody has had any measure of experience at all with the impacts of Corona. So let me leave you with this. Having had it hit really close to home, and we're not out of the woods yet. We still have 2 weeks of quarantine. I don't get to see my wife for 2 weeks. And I have to deal with my kids crying whenever I tell them they can't see mommy. So I understand it's very, very difficult right now, what we're going through. When Corona finally hits you in your life, it's like getting hit by a freight train that's not slowing down, but speeding up like a Ferrari speeds up. Just think about that. What it's like to get hit by a freight train and then see that freight train accelerate extremely fast. That's about as realistic as I can be. So take this information with you. Please use it to make good decisions. I really have no interest in being right or wrong anymore. I want for you guys to just take this information and make good decisions about your personal safety. Because by the time that train hits you, you will be 2 weeks too late. And that's the truth. So thank you very much. Please like, comment, or share. I'll see you on the next video.